If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkill's tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And today, I am finally back, I think, almost to full capacity here. I have been sick for the last, gosh, knows how many days. The whole family got wiped out. But we are back up and running here, and we are starting off today's news with a super carrier coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Miltech Simulations, same guys who brought us the Osprey, are bringing us a super carrier package. There's going to be the Ford class, Nimitz class, and a couple of others, a couple of Arleigh Burke ships to follow along with your cruisers. There's going to be, I believe, 14 moving ships and a bunch of static vessels around the globe in various positions for you to hone in your carrier landing operations. Has everything from the foil system to the ball that you can follow. So fully modeled, as well as giving you call outs and ratings based on your landing, you guys. This is really, really slick. This is bringing us basically a DCS world simulation of the carrier aspect into Microsoft Flight Simulator. So again, leaving all the combat out of it, but giving you the option to start practicing and honing in your carrier landing techniques. Now, I will say that I'm really excited to check this one out. This is sort of one of the reasons why I sort of stayed away from a lot of the carrier aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, because I felt that the carriers were just lacking because of my DCS World experience. Obviously, the super carrier DCS World is highly modeled and very, very well done. It's an incredibly difficult scenario to land on the carrier in DCS. Now, with them bringing all of this functionality to Microsoft Flight Simulator, there's a couple things that I'm really hoping for. I'm kind of curious if for example, the burble. The burble is a wind effect that is caused by the wind being pushed around the control tower and causes sort of a rocking as the aircraft passes through it. It's known as the burble. I believe it's usually caused when the aircraft carrier has to speed up to, say, around 27 knots, 25 knots, somewhere around there, and not usually caused by direct wind itself. But anyway, so I'm kind of curious if they're going to have any kind of modeling that. I'm kind of curious if there's going to be any kind of pitching deck or anything like that. But either way, even if those two items are not there, the fact that they've added the grading system, the foil system, the ball tracking, this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, this I will definitely be jumping on. And I believe it's supposed to be releasing right around September the 14th, you guys. So just a few days from now, and it will be on Miltech's site direct or also on Orbix if you guys are interested. To you Xbox players, I will let you rest at ease that it will be fully compatible with the Xbox as well upon release. Parallel 42 coming out with another scenery for Northern California for you bush trip flyers. This is going to be, I believe they call it Sunset Strip. Has a ton of detail, a ton of different items for you to explore and see around, and it's going to have trails, UTV trails that are going to be ready and available in anticipation of their Juice Goose, their off-roading all-terrain vehicle, if you will, that they are working on. This is available at a very, very cheap price, you guys, $10 US, again, found on the Parallel 42 website if you guys are interested. And as you guys can see, tons and tons of detail, tons of things to go around and search for and experience on their sceneries. Parallel 42 does an absolutely amazing job with all of their sceneries. They're always really innovative and always trying to make them something a little bit more than just a neat place to fly, but adding a bit more around to the surrounding area to keep you busy for a minute and really give you that enjoyment of flying in their particular sceneries. I do absolutely enjoy flying to their sceneries. I will be picking this one up and showcasing it on the channel if you guys are interested, so stick around and stay tuned for that. Just Flight comes back with another update to their BAE 146. In particular, a big change to the EFB, fixing a bunch of bugs, as well as adding a weather radar. That's right, they finally added the weather radar to the aircraft. It is fully functional and ready for your use in Microsoft Flight Simulator. A bunch of other bug fixes and adjustments have been made to the aircraft, so if you guys are interested, that is available for download right now. Simply log into your Just Flight account, download the new aircraft. I always recommend removing any previous installations before you guys move forward, but again, to each their own. However, I wanted you guys to be aware that update is ready and available again for the BAE 146. Ryzen Simulations has provided an update to their A318 through 21 series of aircraft, and making it further compatible with the Flybywire as well as with the Latin VFR aircraft A320 series of aircraft. Now, they've done everything from top to bottom. There's a little bit of everything inside of this update, everything from VNAV to LNAV updates, flight model updates, computation updates, texture updates, seating updates, branding, you name it, functionality, system updates, EFB updates. They've really done a ton of work on this particular mod. This is a free mod that enhances the existing aircraft for the Latin VFR series of A300 aircraft. And this can be found on the flightsim.to's website. And they've been consistently updating, and they've really done a really good job. They're, again, updating everything from using the latest fly-by-wire textures. So you got the texture modeling from the fly-by-wire aircraft, as well as the overall base models coming from the Latin VFR craft. But they're taking the aircraft and taking a little bit of everything and bringing it up to a further, I don't want to say necessarily fidelity, but a further feature-rich version of the A300 series of aircraft. So if you guys are interested, again, that will be on flightsim.to. I will have a link to this down in the description below if you guys want to give that a shot. It certainly is worth taking a look at, and I have absolutely enjoyed it in the previous uses of the mod. So check that out, guys. Again, link down in the description below. The absolutely fantastic and wonderful and beautiful and amazing A2A Simulations Comanche 250 received another update with the ACU Sim update going to version 1.3. Amongst the feature list that has been added to this particular aircraft, you have persistent rudder trim behavior, function to repair landing lights using the tablet, so if they get damaged, you can actually repair them now. Trim acceleration option on the tablet, meaning that you will actually be able to adjust how quickly the trim adjusts in the aircraft. So, for example, if you are using a controller or any kind of feature where you're using your trim wheel on your elevator trims and you find that the input is way too strong, you'll be able to reduce it, or vice versa. If you want more input with less action on your controller, you can adjust that as well to fine-tune the trim wheel to your desire and your particular hardware specifications. That is a really slick feature, and there's a couple other aircraft that have that, and I've really enjoyed that. They've also added support for rudder axis when the auto rudder is selected in Microsoft Flight Simulator Assistance options. So if you guys are looking for something to basically help you keep a bit more stable down the runway, you'll now have that ability to turn that on, and that way you don't have to sit there and fight your physical rudders on the ground. In your office or flight room, whatever it may be, and be able to just let Microsoft Flight Simulator take it from there. They fixed the parking brake not engaging when the brakes are somewhat worn. It took me forever to figure out what the heck was going on with mine. I actually ran into that one. I could not figure out what was happening. They fixed accelerated corrosion damage when the aircraft is not in use. So if I'm reading that right, I haven't really experienced this, as I don't think I have. I fly it couple times a week just on my own off camera, just because it's a really fun aircraft to fly. And I don't know that I've been experiencing that. Maybe I haven't let it sit long enough, so I'm kind of curious what that's referring to. Maybe that's something that it was just increasing the corrosion rate even when the aircraft wasn't being used. That's my best guess there. They fixed double clicks being necessary at some stations if conducting a second walk around. They fixed the overstress crash if the moving camera, or if you were moving camera to a external instrument. They fixed the TDS GTN 750XI not initializing under certain circumstances. And they also, this was a big one, they fixed a memory leak when the engine analyzer page of the tablet was open. Memory leaks are always a bad thing and almost always lead to a crash if you don't catch it in time. So that is a really awesome thing as well. And they fixed part of the rudder pedal's axle being visible from the outside. So again, a little texture update there, make it look even better from the outside. The A2A Simulations Comanche 250, you guys, is probably the best currently general aviation simulation in Microsoft Flight Simulator today. It is incredibly high fidelity, incredibly accurate with a ton of features, really keeping you busy and really working hard to bring you as close to as possible the real world experience of everything from the walk around to your pre-flight to flying the aircraft and maintaining it. They've really done an amazing job, and every single time they update it, it's definitely something that you want to jump all over and get involved with. So if you haven't picked up your copy of the A2A Comanche 250, I highly recommend that you guys grab this one. It was a first day purchase for me, and I do not regret it one bit. Got Friends brings us another update of their F4F. Now, this is an aircraft that I am very, very highly anticipating. I cannot wait to get my hands on this aircraft. Everything that I've seen so far on YouTube videos and various MSF forums that they've posted on really shows that this aircraft is going to become something quite spectacular. It has everything from carrier landing to an authentic sound system and just an absolutely gorgeous modeling in general. Now, one of the things that they did showcase in their latest post was that. You guys will actually have gunfire capability. Sorry, I think I was on the wrong page there. I will show you guys the screenshot here in just a second. There it is. Okay, so that was the important one. That was the big one. Is they will actually have gunfire. Now, I can't imagine that there's going to be any kind of damage model or anything like that. Probably much like we saw with the Corsair, where there's not going to be any kind of damage model or anything you can do. But it could be a lot of fun to do, use it as like a laser tag kind of thing if you want to fly around with a buddy. But one of the things that I'm really impressed with their development of this aircraft is they have a couple of videos that I'll leave a link to down in the description below, you guys, to the particular post that I am using as my source here. And you guys will actually get to see a couple of videos, and one of them being the carrier landing. The carrier landing looks absolutely beautiful. And there's a couple of them where they do a really good soundscape with the aircraft, letting you listen to what the sound is going to be like both inside and outside. The F4F is going to be a really hot aircraft, and I think it's a perfect rendition and a perfect tag along to something like the Corsair. That's what I'm actually looking forward to, is finding a couple of people to fly the Corsair and the F4F around, and I think that'd make a pretty cool cinematic shot that we could do. So again, cross your fingers that this hopefully comes out very, very soon. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. Stay tuned to the channel, and I'll keep you guys up to date as I hear more. Rex Simulations ACU Sim is getting a new update, you guys, where they are finally adding the terrain coloring as well. They've done a really good job. The ACU Sim, or not ACU Sim, the ACU Season, thinking about the Comanche there. The Rex ACU Season is a really, really good season mod. It really adds a lot of authenticity to the particular regions of the world you'll be flying in based on what the season is. You're going to get a much more realistic and much more authentic visual representation of what the scenery is supposed to be representing, where that is something that is definitely lacking very often, depending on where you are in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Not necessarily that the season isn't representing correctly, but just not with all the detail and the coloring and shadings that you would expect to see necessarily in those particular areas. Rex ACU Season has done an absolutely wonderful job of truly enhancing that and really creates a much more vibrant experience in your flight simulation, you guys. If you guys have not tried this one out, I would definitely go for this one. There are plenty of people who still use the Rex Weather Force. I don't use the Weather Force anymore, as I don't find it so much necessary as time has gone on. But definitely the ACU Season is one of those ones that is worth grabbing a hold of. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure that you guys check out Rex Simulations and pick it up from there. As always, you guys, I hope you guys found this video useful, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content that was brought to you today. As always, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe. It certainly does help us out here in the channel. Stay safe and healthy, guys. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.